we ended up with the first graph. That was the last thing we did. So grab your graphing calculators and get that graph, the last graph we did yesterday. I will find it. Here it is. So this was before we went our separate ways. This is the last thing we ended up with. And to go even further back, right? We rewrote three different equations and graphed them on the same grid. And so this is a system. And where lines intersect, right? Those are called points of intersection or corner points. So if you hear corner, it's kind of like saying roots and x-intercepts. They mean the same thing, right? Roots, x-intercepts, solutions to the, right? Like that's for quadratics. So these two words mean the same thing. So we had our three corner points. So now we're going to have to find them using our calculator. That's our next step. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, because I left the meeting once. Yeah, sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Mina. I know I don't know why it doesn't just notify me every time somebody types something in. I have to like leave the thing and then it will notify me. All right. There it is. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to try to find those corner points. Some of you may already have done that because I did this year. I did start off with two lines and finding the corner points. I remember that worksheet that I gave you at the very beginning. Uh-oh. Okay. I'll have to charge it in a bit. Anyways, so what we're going to do now is enter all three of these equations, and let's all do that the same way, okay? Obviously, we cannot enter an x equals. We cannot do that, right? We cannot graph that, but we can graph these two. So let's go to our y equals. Hopefully, it won't die on me. I'm going to turn off plot 1 because I'm entering the equation manually. So I don't want plot 1 to be turned on. Let me just see if it can focus a bit better. Okay, so let's type in this one all together. The -5/4. So this is how I do that, by the way. Bracket -5 divided by 4, close bracket. So I'll put that coefficient in brackets, and then I'll go x plus 7. And then I'll enter the second one, that's -4x plus 4. Okay? And then you have to graph it, of course, and it depends on what it is that you did last, you're not going to see a thing. Probably if you wrote the test, you're not going to see a thing, right? Which is all of you. So we're going to go zoom 6, right? That was usually a good way to get it back to the original. Just going to make sure that my battery doesn't die while we're doing this. Technical difficulties. Okay. It's going to be a little awkward, but I'm going to make it work. There. Okay. Gotta make sure it's charging. All right, so zoom 6 seemed to do the trick, but remember you might have to adjust it again depending on what we're dealing with, right? So let's go ahead and find this one over here. And because we only have two lines, it's actually fairly simple. So second trace 5 and then just basically enter, 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 right? Because you're already close to that. So you get negative. Watch what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to go out of this and write down negative 1.09, and that is 8.36. And be careful with rounding. I still see too many rounding mistakes. Okay, and we went second trace 5, right, to get that one. And next we're going to find these here. And this is a unique case when you have x is equal to 3, like then you can't use the intersect option because you're not graphing it. So what we're going to do instead is as follows. Okay, so we're going to try to find this coordinate. We know that this is 3. We're just going to have to find the y value. And we also know that this one here, we know that the x value is 3. We're just going to have to find the y value. Okay, so I'm going to leave that open for now. So how do we do that? Well, we know x, right? So second trace 1 and x is equal to 3. And then right now you're on the blue line, right? So you're on this line right here, which is 3.25. So write it down, 3.25. Okay, and we're going to just say here, one moment here, I'm going to just type in second trace 1, x is equal to 3, right, to get that point. And x is also equal to 3 down here, so how would you find that one? Let me try this first. I think arrow up and down will do the trick. You'll jump to the other line. So because you only have 2 lines, it will just rotate through your lines. If you go arrow up, eventually you'll land there. And so I don't know if you can see it at home. I went arrow up or down, it doesn't matter. Like you'll just jump between lines. And so there you get, it's hard to see on the screen at home, but that's -8. Okay, so you'll write down -8. You go second trace 1, x is equal to 3, right? And maybe what I will do, I don't have this on my original notes, but I'll try something like this. That's just an added, right? Like if you want to jump lines, you just go arrow up or down. Once you have selected second trace 1 and x is equal to 3, you got to go arrow up, down to get that, okay? I am not sure, but I have a feeling that if you had jumped, let me go back to this, right? Let's say you had wanted to jump, but this value would have been outside your window. I think it might complain. So you might have to decrease your y min a little bit until you see it, and then you can jump. I'm not sure, but just keep that in mind. I'm going to actually try it just myself here. Let's see. X is equal to 9. It shows up here if I go arrow up. Oh, it does jump. It's way down here somewhere, -32, so it is okay, but you just don't see it. I would want to see it, right? So little things like that you need to be aware of. So this was A, right? So basically what I normally would want you to do, I wouldn't want you to fill up your graph as much. I would just want you to say here, corner points, right? We'll just write them down, -1.09, 8.36, 3, 3.25, 3, -8. That's what I would normally want you to do. Write them down somewhere on the side. And you would get marks depending on how hard they are to get. In this case, all three you needed the calculator for. Sometimes it's very easy to see, and you will know what I mean down the road. Okay? So I'll basically actually spend the time and go through every single example that I assigned so that at least two more so that you're in good shape. Okay? I'm going to wait for folks at home to copy this. If you haven't done so, I'm going to already write down, you should have, you really should have. I'm going to write down the next system we will be doing. Okay, so there's our next system. So we're going to go through the steps, rewrite them, find the x-intercepts, all intercepts, and then we'll graph them accordingly, okay? So there it is. In the meantime, I'll do the attendance real quick. That'll work. Stop and pause the record. One of these days, I'm going to make a lot of money with my videos. And I'll just live on an island far, far away. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, good thing I don't get paid per view because then I wouldn't be doing so well. Okay. Let's keep going. X-intercept, Y-intercept. So I'm going to do this as if I just assigned it. Okay. So you're lucky. I'm good-hearted sometimes, all right? Especially during these times. So x-intercept, that means that the y is equal to 0. So this is gone. So it's 2x equal to 10. Divide both sides by 2. X equal to 5. 5, 0 is the x-intercept we're interested in. And the reason why I make you write it like this is because for some reason students flip, they mix up x and y-intercept. They'll graph the x-intercept on the y-axis, right? It's like, nope, it's an x-intercept, right? It has to be on the x-axis. The next one is the 2x is 0, right? This turns into a 0, so it's just 5y is equal to 10. It won't always be this pretty, but for this example, it is a nice round number for both of them. My intercepts are there. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it. So I bring the 2x over, it changes sign. Then I divide both sides by 5. And I get negative 2 over 5x plus 2, right? I'll box that in. That's that. Next, I have this, x-intercept, y-intercept. By the way, you don't have to do it this way, but I like them, I like it next to each other. That way I can see what's going on and what my scale is supposed to be. So here, x-intercept, this turns into 0, so it's negative 3x is equal to 15. Divide both sides by negative 3. X is equal to negative 5, so negative 5, 0. Watch the negatives. On this side, it's 2y is equal to 15. Divide both sides by 2. Y is equal to 7.5. If it's a decimal that's finite, why not just write it as a decimal? There's nothing wrong with it. You don't need to simplify fractions. Okay, you just need to make sure, like if this had been a 7.3333 repeating, right? I would keep it as a fraction. Okay, I would not turn it into a decimal because then your answer is going to be off because it matters on the long run. So then this gets rewritten. So 2y is equal to 3x positive plus 15 Divide both sides by 2, y is equal to 3 over 2x plus 7.5. Watch as this pot. So this line, I'm expecting it to go this way. This line, I expect it to go this way. And then this is just a horizontal line, goes through 0, -2. No need to find anything else. That's just, you recognize it. Sometimes it won't be as easy to see. When you clean it up, you'll find, wait a minute, I'm only left with a y. Okay, that's easy, right? It's a horizontal line, and away you go. Okay, now we're going to graph this thing. So I look for x, right? 5, -5. So I'm going to go maybe -6 to +6 or something like that. And my y values, I need to go up to like 10 on the positive side and -2. So I'm going to go to -5 or something. But if you don't like that, if you go 10 each way, you will be fine, right? You'll cover everything. So maybe that's what I will do. I'll go 10 in each direction, and I will make sure everything fits in, right? Okay, hold on. I'm going to make sure you write it down. So I already start my axes here. And some of you are just sitting back and enjoying the show, right? Because you did this. Good, right? Enjoy it. Make corrections if you need to. We good? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. Evenly spread out. Okay. I'm going up by 2 consistently. I'm not going 4 and then 4, 6, 8, right? Like you're jumping. You're going from 4 all of a sudden to increments of 2. Can't do that. And so I'm going to start with the first one, which is 5, 0, which is right about here, and 0, 2, which is there. Okay, I draw my line right through them so I don't mix them up with other points later on. And I extend it, okay? Some students just go right, just barely through them and they stop. Just like, no, just keep going, extend, because that's just a reference, right? Because sometimes when lines are supposed to cross elsewhere, you don't see it because your lines are, you didn't graph them long enough, right? So this one here is y is equal to -2 over 5x plus 2. And then the next one is -5, 0, which is right about here. 0, 7.57 would be there, so 7.5 is there. And that's and I right away label it so that it's out of the way. Okay. Oh, what happened here? There. Patch it. And then y is equal to -2. That's the other one. So it goes through this point right here. And just make it sure it's horizontal. And goes right there. Y is equal to -2. Corner points, I'm going to use a highlighter for that. Okay, so these are your corner points. Or points of intersection, right? So don't mix up the ones that cross the x-axis or the y-axis. Those are just points you plotted in order to be able to graph your lines. So when I have my intercepts, it helps me to find a scale. It helps me to plot 2 points, which is all I need in order to be able to graph the line. It is always recommended to have a grid that's bigger than just the bare minimum, right? Like, so yes, it only went from -5 to +5 here, but that's probably not the smartest. I would say like double it or something, right? Like make sure you have enough room to fit, right? And be aware of the fact that you might have to redo it. Okay, so have an eraser, big deal. Okay, so we're gonna find the corner points. Okay, so I'm gonna maybe dedicate this area here for it. Can you label them A, B, C? Sure, right? But let's go ahead and enter these equations into our calculator. And in this case, every single one of them has a y equals, y equals, y equals. So you can actually type all 3 into your y equals. So let's do it in order so we're all on the same page. So I'm going to start with this one, then this one, then that one. Okay, so from top to bottom, just when you do your test, it doesn't matter, or whatever AC. So 3/2x plus 7.5, -2, and -2 divided by 5x plus 2. So that's what I have. Yes, Mark, you raised your hand.
Does it really matter on what order you put the equations in? Okay.
No, it wouldn't. No, it's just so if you want to follow exactly what I'm doing, then yes. Okay. Let's scroll up a bit so that. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead hit graph. Perfect. 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 I can see all of them. Oh, this one is a little off. I'm worried about that one. So to just make sure I'm not running into issues, I'm going to go window. Remember your window, right? I'm going to turn X max to 15 maybe. Hit graph again. And then just make sure that everything is on there so it doesn't complain. All right. Let's find the top one here. So be careful. This one is a little trickier. Okay, so you got to follow along. So we're going to go second, trace, 5. So it tells you right now at the top here which one you're on. You're on the blue line. Okay, so go sideways until you start seeing. If I go to the right, it's actually wandering off. See, the Y is, oh, you're not seeing that. If I go to the right, my Y value is increasing. That means that it's going up here. I don't want that. So I'm going to go left to see if it comes back. I'm going to keep pressing left, left, left. Keep doing that. Press and hold if you want. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to make it come as close as possible to that intersection. You hit enter. And what happened now? It jumped to the red line, which is not the one I'm interested in right now. That's when you use your up and down arrows. So press up or down until until you land on the other line that's intersecting it. Okay, so you're basically selecting the two equations that you're interested in finding the intersection for. Now we're going to hit enter, enter, until you see the intersection, right? So we write that down. So arrow out, negative 2.89, 3.16. There it is. And this will require practice. That's just it all comes down to practice. Okay. I am choosing to find this intersection next. Okay. Second trace 5. Which one am I on? I'm on the blue line. I don't want to be on the blue line. So I'm going to go up or down arrow. Red, that works actually. You can go travel along the red line until you get closer to the intersection you're interested in. Hit enter, and it just so happens that it's jumping right on the next one. And when it says guess, you press enter, and it's 10, negative 2. Which, if you look at my graph, it's very close, right? It's okay if you're off by a little bit. And let's find the last one. Second trace 5. My cursor is off the charts again, so I'm looking at these coordinates to help me guide, right? If I go to the left, your x value is coming closer. There it is. It's on the blue. So I'm going to travel along the blue until I get to that left corner here. Hit enter. Oh, it just happens to jump right on that one. That's good. Hit enter, enter, and it's negative 6.33, negative 2. The negative 2 should not be a surprise, right? We expected both of these to have a negative 2 as my y value. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to go out, negative 6.33, negative 2. All right. So I'm just going to collect them all on the side here because the corner points are going to be very important to us down the road, okay? It's all going to really come down to the corner points. So I'll make a note here. Use up, down, arrows to jump from one line to the next. And then here, use left, right arrows to travel along a line. So that's basically what it comes down to. So this was C, okay? Was this C? No, this was B. Right? Yeah, this is B. Okay, found those. Okay, 1 second here before I move on. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because this is important, so let's take a step back. Those of you who did C and D already, okay, basically you're done the graph, everything is good. Your task is to find those corner points, right? So I'm gonna take it away for a bit. So this is what we're gonna do. Okay, so for C, if you did it right, you get the following corner points. Okay, and there's your graph. If you're looking at it at home, take a screenshot. If you're not done yet, right? But these are the corner points, and two of them have a y value of 3, which makes sense. You have the y equals a 3 line there. So write these down quickly, and then I'll also show you what the answers are for D. And I will just assign one homework question. Okay, that's the bare minimum. I will give you another system. This one is a little harder because so far you always had either a vertical or a horizontal line. Now all three are going to be slanted. Okay, so it's going to really push the window on your calculator. Okay, it's not going to be a nice small window. Okay, so here are your points for C, and here are your points for D. Okay, so write them down. Here you had a vertical line, right? And so that kind of made it a little easier. So homework, I'll just write it down here maybe. Try negative 3x plus 8y is equal to 32. That's one of them. 6x minus 2y is equal to 21. That's another one. And negative 7x minus 4y is equal to 60. So this would be E, right? Question E. That's your homework. So you do everything we've done so far, plus graphing. Yeah, that's the one. So this is your homework. No, you keep them. So that's your homework. Just one question, right? It will probably take you 15 minutes, right, from what I've observed. So, and because it's more work on this one, but you have to be able to do one of these, including, and most importantly, finding your corner points, okay? So we will continue with this tomorrow. I will definitely AC you on one or two systems, okay? All the way down to the corner points, okay? So it will be posted online, right? And you'll be getting it there, and I will ask you to, right, do the whole thing, take pictures of it, and submit it back to me, all right? Okay,